Okay, last few lectures we have discussed about DC excitation, where we did not consider the variation of the winding currents with time. But we know there are several machines where the winding currents do vary with time. But we have seen that how in different machines the current types. So, we have DC, synchronous and induction machines. We have seen the windings carry currents. In a DC machine, stator winding carry current which is DC. The rotor windings also carry the sort of a DC type of currents, because the currents do not change in the winding in the given position. Synchronous machine, stator winding carries 3-phase AC and rotor windings carry DC. And induction machine, stator windings carry 3-phase AC and rotor winding carry also polyphase AC, that is induced AC. This is also polyphase. So, we must know the air gap fields produced by such time varying currents. So, that is the purpose of today's lecture and discussions. Okay. Now, let us look at a single phase winding with AC excitation. Now, just to get a feel of, let us have one winding, be something like this. We have the machine, with winding cross and dot, let us say A dash. Okay. So, its axis is here. And we pass a current through A, let us say, which is a time varying current. This is varying with time, and it comes out, same current comes out varying with time. Now, what you generally expect is that axis of the magnetic field remains the same. It is like this. We have already seen that with the unexcited rotor, that means rotor having the same potential, we are interested to know what will be the MMF of the stator with reference. Now, it will be a function of theta and time. This stator now will assume an MMF which varies both in space and time, because my current is varying in time. Otherwise, we were understanding earlier that this portion will assume one potential and create a north pole here, and we also said that the other portion will create, this portion will create a south pole, isn't it? So, we had all these potentials are all positive plus potentials here, and this would all be minus potentials here. So, the flux lines will flow like this from the stator surface to rotor surface, and from rotor surface to stator surface. And from a simple compensation analogy, we can say that it is as good as putting a magnet like this from north pole to south pole, right. Earlier this was having a fixed strength, earlier it was having a fixed strength, decided by the magnitude of the current. Now, that magnitude of the current is changing with time. Therefore, you logically expect the strength of the magnet will go on changing with time. Okay? And if the current is maximum, you would expect it will have a maximum strength, that is the maximum strong magnet you have placed. And if it is goes through zero current in the cycle, it will have zero strength, as if the magnet is not there. Now, if it reverses direction, then you may find if this is north pole, this is south pole, it will become like this, right. So, it is possible that the flux direction will also change. One time flux may be going from this to this, and other time flux may be going from this to this. So, you are likely to get what is known as a fluctuating flux, or a MMF, which is a fluctuating MMF or oscillating MMF in space, but it is always centered along this axis. It does not change the axis. So, what is from a logically you can expect, you are going to have a magnet placed there whose strength is changing with time, and not only that, its direction is also likely to change when the current direction changes here. Okay. So, this explanation we will go a little further through analytical expressions. So, here we have got this AC excitation with single winding. So, my current, you can say IA is root 2 I cos omega t. It is changing with time. Therefore, the MMF, which is now a function of theta and time, will be 4 by pi kW NSE by P is the design data, that constant will remain. The current is now root 2 I cos omega t is the current, and this is the maximum value. So, what you have is the along the axis, but at other positions theta it will have cos theta. So, it is a function of theta and time. So, the MMF as a function of theta at time will be a constant into cos omega t cos theta, which is a function of space theta and time t, right. So, we get an MMF which is both varying in space and time as given by this expression, and we are assuming a sinusoidal variation of MMF. That is why we call it as cos theta. Otherwise, it does not have any harmonics. It is not a rectangular wave, it is a sine wave variation in space. It is varying in space in a sinusoidal manner. Okay. So, we can write it the same function as a peak value f peak cos theta, f peak into cos theta, where f peak is f max cos omega t into cos theta. So, we will like to look at this. So, we consider this whole thing as f peak, that is centered along the axis, the peak value, but which is function of t. The peak value of MMF is also a function of t, right. So, we are trying to say this is centered along this, what you have here is f peak, but which is a function of t. Is it clear? This f peak which is centered along the a axis is a function of time. Okay. As we see here, this is a function of time because this is given by this constant into cos omega t. Okay. And we can also say what is the f max is a constant, does not vary with time or space. F max is 4 by pi kW NSE by P into root 2 into I. I is the RMS value of the current. This is RMS value. So, in terms of the RMS current, the maximum possible amplitude of the MMF which is available only at A axis will be 4 by pi kW NSE by P. Depends upon the design details of number of turns and number of poles, and others are all constant, and also currents that you are RMS current you are passing through. Okay. Okay, now you can look at this graphs. Your current is varying in time with a peak value at time t equal to 0 and 0 value at some other time minus peak value at some other time and then goes to 0 and another peak value. Let us look at what happens at each instance of time, right. When it is having time t1, that is when current is peak value, so you would expect, after this is the a axis, and you would expect the MMF variation will be like this with the maximum value. F max is the maximum value when current is the maximum value, right. So that will be the F max here, and that will be varying space. So this is at time t1, you freeze at time t1 for that magnitude of current which is root 2 I. This is the MMF pattern. Now let us look at time t2 here. Time t2 is somewhere less than the maximum value but more than the 0 value, some point here. At that instant t2, you will have some value which is F max omega t2. This point will be F max cos omega t2, okay, and then again another sine wave is standing. That means if there is another magnet, you are located here, but its peak strength is less than this value. So my magnet strength has decreased. Now you go to time t3. Time t3, the winding current is 0. When winding current is 0, the MMF is 0, so it is as good as a flat line. So there is no MMF any point. At all points it is a 0 MMF, whether it is interpolar axis or the polar axis or the coil axis or the coil position. So you have this T3. Now go to T4. T4, what has happened? Current has become reversed. When current has reversed, so this is the value. That means it has become whatever was the north pole now has become a south pole. So magnets have reversed. So earlier it was magnet was standing like this, you can say, now the magnet will be standing like this. Flux directions have reversed, okay, say centered around, but axis has not changed at all, it will be same. Now you see T4, then you come to T5, which is the maximum value here, right. At that instant you will have another magnet, the MMF pattern is like that. So what is the peak value here? Is F max, but it is minus F max, okay, it is a reversed magnet, okay. So you will find it oscillating. Then T6 again assumes the same position as was at T4, but with a reduced peak compared to this. Then go to T7, it is a 0 MMF variation, no, in this space in the air gap. And T8, you will find this point again as the green one here. T8 is here, and T9 again comes, T9 is same as T1, so it assumes the same position. So as you vary from T1 to T9 in one cycle, you find that the MMF pattern has gone through. So it is a fluctuating flux centered on the same axis, okay. So it is that oscillatory type of MMF you see with single phase winding with single phase excitation, okay. So you can get that in this fashion. So FA theta T, now you can write it as in this fashion. It is varying in space and time centered around this. So I can write it as F max by 2 into cos theta minus omega t plus cos theta plus omega t. So this is the next step. So what we have is, we have an oscillating flux, oscillating MMF at the same axis, which is given by this expression, that is we have is equal to F max cos omega t cos theta. This is what we have got, F gas cos omega t cos theta, and that thing expression can be rewritten as F max by 2 cos theta minus omega t F max into plus cos theta plus omega t. So, I have two terms here, one is theta minus omega t, one is theta plus omega t, and this represents cos theta minus represents a forward rotating field, theta plus omega t represents a backward rotating field. So, we call this as f plus and f minus. So, because we are now representing two MMF patterns, one is f plus, that is represented by this, and f minus represented by this. So, what is f plus? F plus is f max by 2 cos theta minus omega t, the first term. So, that is f plus, and this is called the forward field. This represents a forward rotating field, as if you are spinning a magnet, you are just rotating the magnet, okay, at omega electrical radians per second, right. So, this is field at radians per second, right. This is one field, okay, and similarly we have the other field f minus, which is f max by 2 cos theta plus omega t, which is a backward field rotating at minus omega radians per second electrical, okay. So, we have two fields, one forward rotating field and a backward rotating field. Therefore, we can conclude that this statement, a pulsating field can be resolved to two rotating fields, and this concept is called a double revolving field concept. It is called a double revolving field concept, where we say a pulsating field you represent by two revolving fields. A resultant of two revolving fields creates a pulsating field. So, what we are saying is of placing one magnet like this, it is equivalent to having two magnets of half its amplitude. See, earlier it was f max, half its amplitude. If it was say 100 units, you make it 50 units. Now, at time t equal to 0, it is totally 50 plus 50 is 100, okay, and after some time, you know, it will move, and maybe after some time it will go like this, okay, then the net magnetic field is 0, right. Then after some time it will go like this, right, net magnetic field is somewhere negative, and after some time it will move like this, then it has become minus negative, right. It is half the magnitude, it is as good as it is rotating, then it will change and it will go like this, okay. So, you will find there is one forward field which will go in the direction, say let us say at omega electrical radians per second. There is another one which is the negative or backward field which will go at omega electrical radians per second like this, right. So, one is rotated at plus omega electrical radians per second, another at minus omega electrical radians per second. So, we now have two fields, a pulsating field resolved into two rotating fields. So, it is taking a magnet and spinning at that speed of plus omega or minus omega, but of strength half the strength of that pulsating field, okay. Now, let us now take up what happens if you have three phase windings with three phase excitation. We have now taken single phase winding with single phase excitation. Now, we put three phase windings with three phase excitation, okay. So, we have these three phase windings, A winding, B winding, C winding, displaced at 120 degrees in space, carrying currents IA, IB, IC, and these currents are all three phase currents. Three phase excitation means three phase balanced currents represented as follows. IA is root 2 I cos omega t, IB is root 2 I cos omega t minus 120, IC is root 2 I cos omega t plus 120, and these are the, this is what you have, okay. So, what will it create? So, instead of one pulsating field, you are likely to get three pulsating fields, but centered around the respective axis A, B, C, right. It is simple logic you can have. So, you find three MMFs now. Earlier you had only one MMF FA, now you have three MMF FA, MMF due to A phase excitation, which is again varying in time and space, FB, B phase MMF due to variation time and space, but centered around B axis, and FC again the MMF due to C winding excitation. So, three MMFs are there now. They are centered on respective winding axis, okay. So, this is what you will find now, 3 windings. Now, let us say theta is measured from A axis in space. Okay. So, what we are trying to find is again if you instead of 1 winding I place 3 windings. Let us say this is A, so A axis, okay. Then let us say B, which is here. So, you have B and then C somewhere here, okay. Okay, C. So, you again have so you have A dash, B dash and C dash, we had done it earlier. So, we have now got one pulsating MMF centered around A, another pulsating MMF centered around B, another pulsating MMF centered around C, okay. 3 MMF, but they are all varying in time and also space. Now, after all there are no 3 surfaces, there are only one surface. So, at any point in space here, the total MMF will be that produced by A plus B plus C at that point in space and at that point in time. So, at every point in space there is an MMF which changes with time, or in other words, if you look at the air gap, net MMF will definitely change with time and space. Okay. So, we can continue. We can write like this: 3 phase MMF can be written as FA 4 by pi kWn by P is the constant into IA cos theta, FB is 4 by pi kW n P, same constant into IB cos theta minus 2 pi by 3, FC, that is MMF due to C, will be the same constant into IC cos theta plus 2 pi by 3, because each of them will be centered differently. Okay. Now, we know that IA, IB, IC is also changing with time, because this is a general expression for whatever is the nature of IA, IB, IC. Okay. Therefore, FA will be, we can write similarly, F max into cos theta cos omega t, FB is F max cos theta minus 2 pi by 3 cos theta omega t minus 2 pi by 3, FC is F max cos theta plus 2 pi by 3 cos omega t plus 2 pi by 3. Now, we have all of the 3 MMFs which are changing with space and changing with time. So, we now have expression for the 3 phase MMFs, because our currents are changing with time. Okay. Now, each of these MMFs I can resolve into a forward field and a backward field, as we did with a single phase winding, right. Each one will give rise to a one forward field, one backward, here one forward, one backward, one forward, one backward. Okay. So, we resolve these MMFs. Next question is, resolve these MMFs. Each MMF due to A, B, C phases can be resolved into forward and backward fields as follows. That means, FA, you have FA plus plus FA minus, and FB will have FB plus plus FB minus, and FC is FC plus plus FC minus. So, you have 3. Each one will have a forward field and a backward field. Forward field will rotate only at plus omega, and backward field will rotate at minus omega. So, you find there are these 3 combined together. What will it make? It will make a net forward field, FA plus, FB plus, FC plus. If you sum it up together, you will create one magnet. a resultant magnet because they are all rotating at the same speed. Similarly, you can also write the Fa minus Fb minus Fc minus, they will all be at negative or the backward field. So, you have one forward field and one backward field. Okay. So, what are those and forward field Fa plus is F max by 2 cos theta minus omega t, and Fa minus is F max by 2 cos theta plus omega t, and similarly Fb plus is F max by 2 remains the same, you have cos theta minus omega t minus 2 pi by 3, because compared to this forward field this will be at minus 2 pi by 3 because centered along the next axis. Fb minus will be the backward field due to A, but displaced by minus 2 pi by 3. Okay. Then this Fc plus is same peak value cos theta minus omega t plus 2 pi by 3, because with reference to this will be next one, and Fc minus is theta plus 2 pi by 3 plus 2. Now you notice these ones will have this is Fa plus, Fb plus, and then Fc plus, like that. Okay. Now if you actually this we have to I think there is a mistake here. This Fb plus will be F max by 2 cos, it will be same actually, and Fc plus also will be same because it will be in the same phase, because right, please note down this change, all will be same, whereas the negative fields will be displaced. Okay. I think you can work it out, because we have the basic method of resolving that, as we said earlier, is like this. You write cos theta minus omega t and cos theta plus omega t. See, for B phase what will happen? It will be theta minus 2 pi by 3 and omega t minus 2 pi by 3. So, forward field will be that minus minus cancel, it will still be theta minus 2 pi, but this will become theta plus omega t minus 4 pi by 3. Okay. That will be plus actually, and this will see Fb minus will be theta minus 2 pi by theta plus 2 pi by 3 and omega t plus 2 pi by 3. Okay. So, that will become 4 pi by 3, I think it's right, it's all right, yeah. Okay. And similarly Fc plus is your theta plus 2 pi by 3 and omega t plus 2 pi by 3, your difference of that will become theta minus 2 pi by 3, the theta minus omega t, and Fc minus will have this theta plus omega t plus 2 pi by 3. Okay. Now, if you sum up the forward MMF, please look at the forward MMF here. That is, net forward MMF will be Fa plus plus Fb plus Fc plus, because each one was contributing F max by 2. So, sum will be 3 by 2 F max cos theta minus omega t. So, this is the net forward MMF. Okay. Net backward MMF, resultant backward MMF would be, that will be basically Fa minus plus Fb minus plus Fc minus. Fa minus will be theta plus omega t, then minus 2 pi by 3, because plus 4 pi by 3, and then this will be plus 2 pi by 3. So, you find the sum of these three terms will add up to 0, because they are, let us say, cos x plus cos x minus 2 pi by 3, cos x plus 2 pi by 3. Sum of this will become 0. So, the net backward field is 0. So, therefore, a 3-phase winding with 3-phase currents will only create only one forward field and no backward field. So, resultant will be, what is the resultant MMF? To sum up, result MMF will be is purely a forward rotating field at omega electrical radians per second. What is the speed of that rotation? Is omega electrical radians per second, but with an amplitude 3 by 2 f max. That means you have created a magnet whose amplitude is 3 by 2. Amplitude means that is the MMF that occurs at its axis. At its axis, its value is 3 by 2 f max, and its rotational speed is omega electrical radians per second, which is also equal to electrical radians. You can write it in mechanical radians also, that is electrical 2 by p into omega mechanical, isn't it? This is omega electrical and this is omega mechanical. We know omega mechanical, omega electricals are multiplied by this, and which if you want to write in RPM, revolutions per minute, the speed of rotation is 120 f by p revolutions per minute, and you also call this as ns, or you also often call it as synchronous speed. Synchronous speed is also the speed in which the rotating magnetic field rotates, right. So, we come out with a important conclusion that 3-phase windings displaced by 120 degrees with 3-phase currents will result in a rotating magnetic field with 0 backward field. Now, it is not necessary only to have 3-phase, you can have any number of phases, right. Therefore, you can have q phase windings, any general q phase winding with q phase currents will give rise to a resultant MMF, which is q by 2 f max cos omega t cos theta minus omega t. This is one important conclusion that you have. The conclusion is it is general for any polyphase winding with q number of phases, but the currents also should be q phase. You can't have a 6-phase winding with 3-phase currents, right. So, 6-phase windings if you have, you must have 6-phase currents with phase shifted by 60 degrees or not 120 degrees. Okay. Therefore, that synchronous speed, important, does not depend on number of phases, because it only depends upon the frequency and poles. Larger the number of poles, speed is less, and higher the frequency, speed is more. If you have 50 hertz, it may run at one speed, at 100 hertz, it will run at double that speed. So, rotating field can be changed by changing the frequency and number of poles. Okay. Now, the same thing we will demonstrate by a graphical method, a rotating magnetic field, a graphical method to demonstrate the rotating magnetic fields. Okay. We go like this. We use 3-phase currents to start with. 3-phase current waveforms are as follows. Let us say you have the A phase and you have the B phase, which is lagging A phase by 120 degrees electrical, and you have the C phase which is lagging B phase by 120 degrees. Okay. But all of them, let us say, have a peak value of I. Peak value is I, and the negative peak value minus I. So, at different instance, let us look at the magnitude of currents carried by those windings. Let us take at time t1, what current it will carry? A phase will carry I and B phase will carry minus I by 2 and C phase will carry minus I by 2, isn't it? So, at that instant. So, let us see what is the magnetic at different instance. You see T2, the C phase will have minus I and A and B will have plus I by 2, but some of the 3 currents will be 0. Okay. look at time t3. Time t3, B phase has a peak value and other two, A and C, has minus half. Look at time t4. T4, the A phase has minus I and B and C will have plus I by 2. Look at t5. T5, this has peak value, that is the C has peak value and the other has minus half, T5. And T6, the B has minus peak value and the other two, that is A and C, has plus half, right. So, we have a situation like this. We can sum up that this is the value of these are the currents. At T1, I minus I by 2 we have seen. If you look at that waveform, you will see this summary. T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, currents magnitudes will change, IA, IB, IC for the 3 windings. So, I minus I by 2 minus I by 2, this I by 2, I by 2 minus I, like that, okay, at different instance of time. Now, if you look at the MMFs produced, okay, let us say this is the A axis, let us say this is the B axis, and let us say this is the C axis. So, at T1 we see A is having I minus I by 2 minus I by 2. So, I means it will produce an MMF F max here, and B and C were carrying minus I by 2 minus I by 2, right. So, minus I by 2 means it will be in the other direction, opposite to this. What is its magnitude will be F max by 2, and let us say the other one is somewhere like this. But if that means it will all be resultant will be in this direction and it will be net resultant of all the three. Let us say this is 3 by 2 F max, that is at time T1. At time T1 the net field is centered along A axis, that means the net field will be centered around that axis or which carries the peak current. Now, the A is carrying the peak current, it will be along the A axis. Now, let us look at the second instant. Second is I by 2 minus I, and C is carrying minus peak current, right. Now, you will see same logic, C is carrying minus peak current, so you expect it will be along minus this, that is 3 by 2 F max. So, this will be at time T2. So, the magnet has moved by how many angle? This has moved by 60 degrees, right. So, theta, the magnetic axis, has now become at T2 it is 60 degrees, okay. Now, same thing T3, B is having the peak value, same logic, that means it will be centered along B axis. This will be at T3 with the same magnitude 3 by 2 F max, okay. So, the amplitude will be same, net one is 3 by 2 F max, but it will be at 120 degrees at T3. So, you notice at time T3 of the waveform the magnet has moved along the Q along the B axis. Next T4 it is centered along minus of A, opposite to A axis. So, you will automatically see this has gone here. This is a T4. So, you have seen T1, T2, T3, T4, and similarly you will find at T5 it is along the C axis, because it is the C that is carrying the peak current at that point in time. So, at that instant you will have this here, this will be T5, and at T6 which is having the peak current, B is carrying the peak current, but in the negative direction, it is minus I, therefore, it will be along the B axis, but opposite direction, so opposite to B, so it will be here. Okay. So this is a T6. So it's supposed to be T1 60 degrees, 60, 60, 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So you notice that as the current waveform goes through one cycle, your magnet rotates through one rotation, right? That is one of the conclusion that you will notice, right? What are the conclusions is that peak MMF at all instant is 3/2 F max. Magnet strength does not change. Magnet strength remains with a peak value of 3/2 F max. This is one conclusion. Okay, it remains at 3/2 F max. Next conclusion is magnetic axis changes with time. It goes on rotating, resulting in a rotating magnetic field. This is second conclusion, right? And the speed of rotation is omega electrical radians per second. It's always omega electrical radians per second. You know omega is 2 pi f. And that will be same as 120 f by p rpm, right? Okay. So these are the conclusions that you will find. Okay. So you find that different machines will therefore produce different fields. Okay. Summary of this is the synchronous machine will produce a rotating magnetic field, a DC machine will produce a stationary magnetic field, induction machine will produce a rotating magnetic field. Okay. So you find, if you look at the air gap, different machines will have different nature of magnetic fields, but they are expected to be sinusoidally changing in space and creating different magnets. Okay. So now we will next lecture we will see what is the effect of such fields. We have now identified all the machines with all the fields. Next we will look at the effect of such fields in producing voltage and also generating torque. We will close it here. Okay.